Hey guys. I'm Chris Ryan, I'm 19, I'm a student at Michigan State University, and I'm a gay stand-up comedian.
Tell me about Chris.
Oh gosh, Chris is
a very interesting person.
Chris is a very bright young man, very creative, hard worker.
One of the ideas that I'm currently writing a stand-up routine about is America's Next Top Model parody, but rather America's Next Top Model for porn stars. So instead it would be called Up and Coming. So, and instead of challenges like walk in a Dolce & Gabbana fashion show or pose couture for Calvin Klein, it'd be like, how many dudes can you go down on at once? Furthest cum shot. How quickly can you disappoint your parents? So all things I'm like really good at. I was inspired to go into comedy because in middle school and in high school, I was kind of awkward, I was shy, I was geeky. So I needed a way to express myself creatively.
Chris was always one of the kids in the room that always had a comment, always could make laughter out of nothing.
Dicks, wieners, butts, other assorted goodies. You're welcome. Jesus. But growing up in Gaylord, there wasn't a lot of diversity. It was kind of difficult for me to, come out or openly admit that I was gay because I actually saw my first black person here tonight, so that was good. So I grew up in Gaylord, Michigan, which is right about here on the hand, so directly an hour south of the bridge. And it's a town of 3,000 people within the city limits, I believe, 10,000 people in the entire Otsego County. Primarily, I believe I looked up statistics one time, it's like 92% Caucasian.
The community has very little ethnic diversity. I think we're about 5% on the ethnic diversity of the county. The county is primarily about 25,000. The city of Gaylord is 3,600 people.
I do not like Gaylord at all. It's too small for me. Everything's the same. But Gaylord itself is like one of those cities that nothing ever really happens. Like in the play that we're doing right now for drama, we're doing Ramona Quimby, and the place that all the characters live is called Klickitat Street. And one of the quotes from the play is that if an atomic bomb would drop on the White House, Klickitat Street would stay the same, and it's basically what Gaylord is. Like, anything could happen anywhere in the world, and nothing would happen in Gaylord.
Gaylord's a lot more than people give it credit for. Any place you go, you're always going to find small-minded. You're always going to find small town. But there's so much more. A lot of people think you come up north and cars disappear and you're riding a moose to school. But you're not.
Religion plays a big part in our community. There are a number of places to worship in our community. We are the diocese center for the Catholic Church.
So it's a very, very religious town to the point where sometimes the churches are like, we don't like this movie, so it can't show it at the movie theater and stuff like that, where the religious powers that be within Gaylord have some say over tourism and commerce and all that. So this is my church. This is the Gaylord Diocese, Catholic Diocese. It's the largest Catholic diocese for the size of this town, because this town is significantly smaller anywhere in the nation that has this well of a functioning Catholic diocese. So this town is so dang Catholic. I feel some type of way about the Catholic Church. There's some really nice people there that go there, so it's hard to say that religion is bad or good, and I'm not saying that because I find myself to be Catholic as well. It's just that practice what you preach, and I feel strongly about that. So we're gonna head into my old stomping grounds, the place where I tore it up and represented for the gays. It's Gaylord High School, land of my worst years of my life. I would say I did pretty well in high school. I was involved in everything, and I think part of that had to do with the fact that I was repressing so much.
He's a leader, and he would always being student council and all that kind of stuff. And then he gravitated towards the drama.
I was involved with 2 varsity sports, cross country and track. Cross country, which I went and performed at the state finals. I was all regional in track. I worked a full-time job as a manager at a retail store, TJ Maxx. But when I was dealing with all this, I really was depressed.
Well, as far as the bullying goes, I did not know the bullying was going on because Chris never really told us. He would make some comments like, oh no, I can't do that, or
I can't wear that.
I can't wear that, they won't let me wear that. I'm like, who? Nobody can tell you what you can or cannot wear. You wear what you like to wear. But he didn't see it that way.
A couple guys who I knew, they came up to the table and they're like, so man, are you a ladies' man or are you gay? And I said, I'm neither. And then they responded with, nah man, you're gay. You like guys. And then they walked off like laughing, high-fiving and all that. But it was like really devastating to me because I knew that everyone's going to talk about it now. This is going to be the talk of the high school. And within a couple days, it was. People would point at me in the lunch line and say, he's gay. Indoor track freshman year, this was in the winter because obviously it's between cross and track season. We would come up here, we would work out, and during like stretching time was when the wrestlers would come and work out, and during that time then they would all come and like just push me into lockers or like punch me and then continue running. I was like, and I didn't stand up for myself because I was like a little meek little freshman at the time, so I was like, that wasn't nice. But like, and no one seemed to care. Like all the rest of my teammates are like, we didn't see that or pretended not to. The confidence that I had going into high school was completely washed out within a week. And from that point on, my freshman and sophomore year, I didn't talk.
Well, it was just a hard time because I wanted to help him and reach him and find out what's bothering him, and he just wouldn't open up to me.
When I would get home, I would be just so angry at myself, and I had so much self-hatred for who I was and for my sexuality. And I would come home and blow up at my family. We would scream, particularly my mom and I, because she was the most proactive with trying to help me and figure out what's wrong.
Probably tried a few different angles to try to get him to come out of his room more and whatnot. And everything from yelling at him, there were a lot of tears over it.
I would just go in my room, lock the door, and I wouldn't speak to my parents. I'd say, thanks, Mom, for dinner, and then I'd go right back in my room.
When he came home, which I would hope is his most comfortable spot, that's when he would let it show that he wasn't happy.
So I did try suicide a couple times. I would wrap my sheets around my neck and squeeze. I would write little suicide notes, not knowing if I would face the next day, because what if I hit my breaking point tonight? I could never write I'm gay even on my suicide notes because I didn't want to admit that.
Did you know at around 14, that he attempted suicide?
No, I did not.
And I was fully aware of the fact that I was hurting my relationship with my family, but I couldn't do anything about it because I was just so mad at myself and so mad at the situation I was in, where I was angry at the world.
He wasn't just angry at the world, he was angry with himself. And Chris being a perfectionist, he was angry with himself, not living up to the standards of his parents' view or what the world wanted to label him as.
A little flicker in my mind knew that this is stupid and I have more to live for than that, and this is all going to work out. So I would always stop.
I don't know, it was a really rough time. I wish he had been more open about everything that was happening. Obviously, we still need to do some talking.
It really is interesting looking back at it. I mean, I was so shut in and quiet and all that. And then as soon as it turned 7 p.m., CRISPR Live started.
Hey, my minions. Holla! Hi, guys, it's Chris. Yeah, the guy who makes YouTube videos on this channel. That'd be me.
But it was my creative outlet during those years where then as soon as I turned on that webcam, I was a different guy. I was CRISPR. And it was honestly one of the main reasons why I'm still here is because that was my only happy points in my high school was when I was able to make people laugh at my stupid little web show online.
Yo, bitch. We got some serious beef. Like, this one girl went up to me and she's like, all high schoolers are so immature. And I was like, you're in 5th grade. And she was like, yeah, get away. And I was all, girl, relax.
It was maybe easier to be himself in front of the webcam as opposed to in real life sometimes.
All the kids would kind of hook into him, and it was kind of like rantings and ravings about all sorts of topics in the world.
I've seen some of his YouTube videos from his old channel. I don't know if he still does it, but some of his old YouTube videos. And it's a very unique sense of comedy, I guess.
One of his friends, Ellen, we have mutual friends, she was showing a video to a friend and I started watching it with her. And I was laughing and I just remember, like, my gaydar's going off right now.
He commented on one of my YouTube videos, one of my comedy YouTube videos, and was like, you're really cute, I would love to date you or something.
I remember asking straight up, so are you gay or are you just flamboyant in personality?
This was my first time admitting it out loud or in type or anything because I didn't like to officially say it. I don't know, it was weird to tangibly say I'm gay. So then I gave him like this whole like novel explaining I'm an open book but I don't feel the need to put labels on it.
A whole spiel about who he is doesn't define him and, you know, that kind of thing.
And then I sent that and then he's like, so you're not? And then I said, short version, I'm gay. So these are awards we won because being the super mega jock that I am, you know, I've been to state 3 times. It was all regional 1 year in track.
No, I'm not surprised Chris is doing stand-up. He likes being the center of attention and he just likes making people laugh with his cruel yet hilarious humor.
When I did come out, I actually did get my first boyfriend in my end of senior year. And you know how couples have cute little names for each other, like Hun, Honey, Honey Bear. You know, I had a special name for him too. I like to call him Little Bitch.
Oh my god, I hated him for that, but I knew he was not serious.
Sword. I steal only what I can't afford. Well, that's everything. One hop ahead of the footman. That's all.
Basically, I was a little bitch, but not in that way that you think. More like, since he was a senior, I was a sophomore, I was more inferior.
I quickly found out, being in Gaylord, that it was very difficult to go on dates with the significant other, little bitch. And so being, like I said, the smarter one in the relationship, I come up with something real quick. You know, whenever we go out to the Applebee's, you know, real fancy, high-class dining, I'd put on a hoodie, you know, don a snapback, look all bro, and when the waiter come up, I'd be like, yeah, like, this is my bro here. We play sports together, you know, in baseball, I'm the pitcher, he's the catcher. Football, I'm the quarterback, he's my tight end. I was running with a couple of the guys that are like most anti-gay on my team, and they're like, hey man, Chris, like, I heard you're bringing a dude to prom. I was like, yeah, that's my boyfriend. And they're like, oh, that's really awesome for you. Like, we'll be there to protect you. That's really cool. And I'm like, literally a year ago you were like slamming queers on a run, and now you're like approving of that lifestyle because you realize that it's like any guy.
Just don't know actual people.
You don't know who gay people are by living in Gaylord. There's not exposure to culture. So when you're exposed to a culture, you realize, wait, that doesn't necessarily mean you're a bad person.
I knew when I wanted to come out that I wanted it to be mature and adult. They sat down on the couch. I sat on the fireplace, and I said something along the lines of, Mom and Dad, you might have already had assumptions or feelings or ideas that this is true, but I am gay, and I hope you can still accept that side of me. And I also wanted to bring this up right now because I think it's important, because I am bringing someone to prom. He's my boyfriend, and his name is Alphonse.
I was glad that he was taking who he wanted to take to prom, but on the other hand, I made him alert some administrators or teachers so that they were there and would have his back.
Me bringing Alphonse to prom, me bringing a guy to prom caused a bit of a stir. Word got around fast.
I definitely felt vulnerable, of course, with Michigan being, or northern Michigan being mostly a Catholic Christian type community. Definitely was expecting some hostility.
One side of me wanted the drama to go down, because drama is a gay man's electrolytes. It keeps us going. But also didn't want there to be problems, because I still had a month left of high school, and I wanted to go out on a positive note.
Actually, I was pretty surprised that I didn't get any threats. Like, no one calling me fag, no one discriminating towards us. We even kissed in the middle of a slow dance, and we had a few reactions of girls saying, "Aw, that's so cute." Yeah, prom was probably the best thing that ever happened to me that year.
As much as I liked Alphonse, and I still do like Alphonse, we're still really good friends. That kid pisses me off.
What's the likelihood of you ever getting back together with Chris?
Never.
Never?
Never.
Probably the one thing that really stands out in my mind is towards the end of his high school senior year, they have a banquet. Junior-senior banquet.
A big thank you to the town of Gaylord. This town provided so few things to do that I had no distractions. And now this
People were rolling. It was so hilarious. It was a very different, I think that was one of the first times that I've ever seen him let himself be that person, not as part of a show, but for his entire group of classmates. And that takes guts.
If you are at a low point in your life, just remember, there's high ground. And in order to reach that high ground, you must be willing to take whatever steps are needed to reach your dreams and future. Like in Mario Kart. When you're on Rainbow Road and you fall off, just remember, you can get a star power-up and get right back in first place.
It was hilarious.
It was hilarious, and at the end, the entire student body gave him a standing applause.
You're welcome, deuces. I love being funny. I love making people laugh. Still to this day, that's the most important thing, is getting a little wisecrack, even if it's at the expense of myself. I love making people happy and laugh.
Chris, he's one of what I consider to be our success stories.
I'm 19, and I am pursuing a degree in marketing through the Honors College here at MSU. So one thing with the Honors Colleges, though, I don't think I really fit in. Often I sit on panels and answer questions. So a few weeks ago, I was on a panel, and a student asked, "So, who's your celebrity inspiration for your major?" I'm like, "Hey guys, I'm Chris Ryan. I'm a marketing major, and my inspiration is Kim Kardashian." And everyone's like, "Oh my God, Chris, that is like so inappropriate. You're supposed to be taking this seriously. Like, are you kidding me?" And I'm like, "I'm being serious. Do you all know what Kim Kardashian's talents are? She don't got none. Do you want to know how much she made last year? $15 million. And do you know why she's famous? She's famous for having sex with Ray J. I don't want to have sex with Ray J, but I will have sex with Ray J for $15 million. You know, I might need butthole reconstructive surgery afterwards, but do you know how many butthole reconstructive surgeries you can buy with $15 million? It's 747. I actually did some research.
Really nothing helped until Chris basically found himself.
Finding your voice is such a different thing for each person. It could be writing poetry. It could be playing basketball. It could be doing stand-up comedy. It could be upside down twerking on walls. But I think it's really important to show who you are and let the world know, because someone's gonna love you for it.
Absolutely. I think the comedy gave him a platform, and the websites and things gave him a platform for just showing who he is.
Let's get 'em, bitches.
I think my parents know that everything is in the process of repair right now. They know that, yes, Chris is going through issues still, and he's still a work in progress, but they know that the worst is behind me. Looking at me now, where I'm able to express myself openly and talk about who I am, what I do, and what I want to do with freedom, it's exhilarating, and I think I'm gonna get somewhere because of that. And I couldn't have said that a few years ago when I had a sheet wrapped around my neck. So right now we're headed up to my hometown of Gaylord, Michigan. I'm actually going to be performing stand-up comedy tonight at the Gaylord Bowling Center, which I'm kind of nervous for because most of my jokes are more tailored to a more diverse crowd or a more liberal crowd, not the Catholic conservative white on white bread crowd that is Gaylord, Michigan. So it'll be interesting to see how many death threats I'll get. I'm counting on at least 2.
Our next comedian is from Gaylord as well. We have 2 Gaylord people here tonight, which is kind of different. Comedians anyway. So I'm sure he's going to be hilarious. I'm excited to hear him as well. His name is Chris Ryan. He's got a wonderful first name.
Hey guys, I guess I already got a proper introduction. I am Chris Ryan. I'm a student at MSU, so please ignore the camera crew, Paparazzi, it happens when you're college educated. Most people in Gaylord don't know, but it's okay. I don't want to just be considered, the gay stand-up comedian. I think I'm better than that. I'm more than that. I'm not just any gay guy. I'm just like any other straight, normal dude, I like watching football. I go to every Michigan State football game. I listen to country music. I know how to shoot guns. Sometimes I Google pictures of vaginas and wonder why they look like Arby's sandwiches, just like any other guy.
I wanted to go back to Gaylord to kind of see my roots and see how maybe things have changed. It was kind of interesting to see that there was the mix of, that's funny, Chris, I can appreciate what you're doing, and the them faggots, what they're talking about, and then, so I think there's a good mix of the two, and I think it was really fun.
It takes guts to come back home, be it if you're from Gaylord, Detroit, or France. And it takes guts to go back home and do a show in front of your home audience. That's hard.
It's really interesting to see someone of my community be so open about who they are on stage, because we're so used to white cisgender males going on stage. So to get some diversity in a voice for a community that sometimes finds it necessary to be quiet, it's liberating.
To be gay in Gaylord is definitely playing with fire. On one side, it's like a blessing to have, because you're bringing a different type of variety to this town. However, some people don't like the change of fire or like what it can bring, and then they just want to douse that and want to bring you down.
But I think Gaylord will get there. It's just a matter of exposure to people like Chris who are willing to stand up and say, hey, this is who I am and it's okay.
I think it's gotten better. I have seen it go to a place where gay couples can go down the hallway holding hands, and they're comfortable to do that.
Being gay from Gaylord, it's such a weird string of emotions. You feel a sense of individuality because there's not a lot of people like you where you're from. So it's a sense of pride, but it's also a sense of shame a little bit. I don't think I could do stand-up comedy if it wasn't for all the horrible things I've gone through, because I always say comedy comes from pain, because what are you going to talk about if you don't have experiences to dwell on? Being from Gaylord has allowed me the opportunity to find my voice, and now I'm here, and I'm happy, and I'm gay as hell.
Welcome to the 45th parallel, y'all. I am back home. I know I'm home now. Thank you for that. So I just wanted to thank you guys for paying attention to me tonight. You guys gave me way more attention than my parents ever did growing up. So thanks for coming out, and have a great night.